What's up, everybody? It's your boy DDS618, and we are here with the creator of Super Space Club, a game that is coming out, or actually it's already out right now,
It's out now,
and
yeah.
it's an it's a very very cool game. It's an amazing game, and I had to talk to Graham Reid, the creator of the game. So this is what we're doing today. How you feeling today, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Glad to talk to you.
Cool, man. And I gotta ask you, man, who basically can you give people an introduction to who you are? What do you do? Who are you and things like that?
Of course, yeah. So my name is Graham Reid, also known as Graham of Legend, and I am a Jamaican video game developer, solo developer, based in New York. And yeah, I just released a game called Super Space Club. It's been a journey, but it's out. It's out and we're here. We made it.
Cool. You said Super Space Club, you're a solo developer. Like how
hmm
what was that process of developing the game and learning how to do all that? Like what was that process?
A lot of YouTube. Like I live, breathe. If there wasn't a YouTube, I'd be doing something else, to be honest. Like YouTube is my bread and butter for learning how to like program, how to use Unity, all that stuff. But yeah, it's just a lot of trial and error too. Like I guess my background with games, I've been playing games ever since I was four, like ever since I can remember. And so all my game design knowledge comes just from me playing games over the years. And then I have an art background, so I do a lot of motion graphics, illustration, that kind of stuff. And then yeah, like I said, it's YouTube learning how to program, how to use Unity and all that, and just put them all together, and then we have a game of games.
Cool. That's crazy. I
Yeah,
always say YouTube University is the best university,
YouTube,
man.
you.
So I gotta ask you, man. You went to YouTube, you started studying and all that, learn how to put things together.
Studying.
And I remember I remember I used to want to program, do video games and stuff, and I just never kept following that dream. And I know how hard it is to code. I actually
It's
coded
hard. Yeah.
yeah, it's hard, man. I coded one thing, and that was like a name generator, a random name generator, and that was a pain in the butt. So, what hardships did you face while developing the game? Like, did you get to the point where it's like, it's working, and then like, crap? Like, did that happen? Like,
I mean, regularly. Yeah, all the time. All the time. But I mean, I can't think of anything. I don't know if there's anything major like that I spent weeks trying to figure out. It's all just been, the small things here and there of, oh, why isn't the quaternions, why isn't the rotation working? And then eventually figure it out, or you just find a new solution and it works. Um, but I think so far with Super Space Club and with the rest of my games, I try to keep it simple, simple enough for my skill set specifically. So like, I'm not here trying to make multiplayer work. That would take me like months, like or online and all that stuff. So I just try to keep it within my current knowledge, or a little bit like one step above that. So yeah, I haven't really run into major problems, thankfully.
thankfully, yeah, 'cause I've seen
Yeah, yeah,
games crash and burn real quick off of one single
it's rough.
problem, man. And I did get on the game late last night. I was playing it, and I have to ask you, why is the game so petty? Like, why is it so petty? Because I still have I think I haven't been able to get past wave 4. Still haven't been able to get past wave 4.
What?
See,
Oh,
you ain't
you're
got to
in for
look.
a treat with Wave 5, boy.
You ain't have to look at me like that. Like, oh wow, Cause, but
No judgment. I'm just saying. If you think Wave 4 is petty, you brace yourself.
oh no, that's not good news. Okay, but you created the game, you got it out. How did you feel to like your baby is finally out?
It feels good. It feels really good. It's funny because when I started it, I didn't have actual babies. I know I have two, so this is less of a baby to me now. So now it's just like, oh, this is just my work, but my passion, and it's out. But it's not like, oh, this is my precious one thing that I've ever made in life. It's funny how life can change your perspective.
Right, and life has changed pretty quick for you. I mean, I've seen,
Yeah.
I saw, and it's funny because I saw you on Twitter. You was saying, "Hey, I have game keys for Super Space Club," and if I'm not mistaken, you was actually supposed to be at what was it? Not RTS. Supposed to be at a convention in Los Angeles for the game
I was supposed
showcase.
to go to the mix. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right,
Like
right.
a while back. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I got the email about Super Space Club then, but it was after Summer Games Fest, and then also after the Microsoft Showcase, and then it was just a lot of things thrown on me at
Yo, this
once.
summer's been busy.
Yeah,
It's been really, really, really busy for
but
sure.
but the fact that I now able to talk to you and I played your game as well, like that's just crazy to see the journey, the process of how you've gotten to where you are. Like what are some of the things that you've learned while creating video games, while creating just learning be a game developer, especially solo developer. What are some of the things that you learned that you would share with other people?
Where to start? Yo, I've learned so much. Probably the biggest thing is make sure you have a plan. And make sure you have a good plan. You can't just make some little half-ass plan. Like make sure you have a good, solid plan. Because I think when I started the game, I still had like a full-time job, and so I was doing it kind of just nights and weekends, you know. And then eventually I left the job, but I still never had a plan. So it was still like all over the place, me trying to figure out the direction, where I'm going, where I'm landing, all that stuff. And if I had a plan, it would have came out like 2 years ago. You know, so I think that's the biggest takeaway, the biggest thing that I've learned is just have a plan.
Okay. And let me ask you,
Yeah.
what was the inspiration behind Super Space Club? I remember I loaded up, like, man, this reminds me of, and I can't think of the game. I know I used to play it on at least Atari back then or something like that.
Or like asteroids or space war.
Yeah,
One of
that's
those,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So like, was that the inspiration behind Super Space Club, or was it just something?
Impartially, yeah. Yeah. So like I mean, Astra is a big inspiration just from the movement, you know, like just pointing in one direction and being able to thrust in that direction and shooting in that direction. Like that's it. That was the all I wanted the game to be, just to kind of see how far I could take those limitations and like push myself. But then yeah, it draws inspiration from all over, like from different games, different movies, different genres of music, all that stuff. Um, and that's the why I made it. I just wanted to make like a dope space shooter because I really like arcadey shoot 'em ups essentially. And like space because why not? But then yeah, like I landed on the visuals and the sound choices because if you just go on Steam right now and just look up space games, I feel like most of them are like these really dark, moody kind of aesthetic, and then have some like some kind of techno beat to them, or you know, just like some kind of I don't know, some kind of like jarring music to kind of get you going. But I just wanted to make something not that. And it's very
Right.
colorful, very vibrant, and then also the soundtrack is like lo-fi hip hop reggae vibes.
Nice, nice. And I like the fact that
But
you
it's
brought
still
up.
hard. It's chill, but it's hard.
You- yeah, it's definitely hard. But I like how you brought up the reggae hip hop vibe because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know too many Jamaican game developers. So do have you like met other Jamaican game developers throughout the
Yeah.
process, and how have they influenced you?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of Jamaican game developers. I should say a lot. I know Jamaican game developers. There's like a whole. If there are any Jamaican or Caribbean game developers listening to this, we have a group, a Discord server called the Jamaica Game Developers Society. And yeah, we're just in there hanging out all the time, kind of sharing our knowledge and talking. As for how they've influenced me, I wouldn't say that they specifically influenced me. But they've been there as a major support system. Like we're all helping each other. I'm there helping them, and motivating them. They're helping me, motivating me, keeping us all on track because we all want we're the same goal of kind of not putting Jamaica on the map, but more so showing like actual Jamaicans living in the country that hey, game development is that thing you can do. It's viable. You can make money from it. You can make a living from it, and it's fun. It's not just the traditional jobs of be a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant or something. You know.
Right, right. And it's funny
Yeah.
you brought up making money with video games. I remember, man, growing up, I was told you're not gonna make money playing video games. You can't make money playing video games. And now to see, there's a whole movement of not just Jamaicans or Americans, like the entire world moving toward developing video games.
Making
It's a beautiful
bank.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it bank for
Yeah.
real, for real.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so now Super Space Club, this is your first game, if I remember correctly, or is
It's
it?
my first game of this scale. So I've made mobile games before, but never made a Steam and Xbox game.
Okay, okay. So I also noticed you have Xbox controllers on the wall. So are you big Xbox fan or?
Well, so I actually I have a bunch of other controllers too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So not just Xbox, but starting on Xbox just because it was the easiest. It made the most sense to start with Xbox for me in terms of consoles. But yeah, I'm just a fan of everything. Like I just love games in general. I'm not partial anymore.
Okay, okay. And so you say you love games in general. What are some games you played growing up that inspired you, or what was that moment where you was like, I want to be a game developer?
I feel like I have two different answers for that. So what inspired me growing up is just Zelda, like all Zelda. Pick one, that one, that Zelda. Link to the Past is the first one I played and just fell in love with the idea that games can be this open world, expansive, environmental storytelling kind of thing. It's not just Mario. I mean, Mario's great, but it's not just Mario running left to right or Pac-Man or whatever. Um, and then what made me want to become a game developer was really just it becoming accessible. Like I never thought I could be a game developer until Unity came about, until iPhone and Android came about, when you could just put a game on the App Store and millions of people could play it. Because before it was like, oh, you have to have a publisher, you have to work at a company. Like indies weren't really a thing, and I mean they were a thing, but it wasn't like it is today. Back then indies were putting games on their site and selling them like direct to consumer selling. Even if you go back even further, people had floppy disks and CDs selling them like mixtapes, just handing them out to people. And then eventually Xbox Live Arcade came out, and a handful of people were putting games onto Xbox. They were like, I guess before downloadable games were a thing, or rather before all games were downloadable, it was like, oh yeah, you can download this little 5 megabyte game on your Xbox. Um, and yeah, once the phones came about, then it was like, oh, I can make games. My friends and I started to make games together, and no, I can do it. It just clicked. Something just changed in me. 'Cause before
Nice.
that, I never even imagined I'd make games. I was on the motion graphics path. I planned to get into the game industry just by making trailers or even on the media side, just doing graphics for like reviews and that kind of stuff. And then yeah, it's happened. It's worked. It's worked out.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
That's very good because I remember games used to be 5 megabytes and on the floppy disk and all that. And speaking of like the megabytes, I know that your game doesn't even actually take up that much space. Cause I was like, okay, let me click download on Steam. I was like, I'll be ready in 5 minutes. And I
It's just
like I
done.
literally went to the library just to see how long it would take. It was like completed. I was like, wait, what? So the fact that you were able to create a game that's very petty, that has several
It's
different
not that
characters.
petty.
It's petty to me. Maybe it's
Oh
me,
my
but nah.
gosh.
You have a game that's out that has several different characters and some dope music and stuff. Like, how were you able to, I guess, in a sense, not create a game that, because I mean and it's not a knock on any game, by the way. I don't want anybody coming for me, but Call of Duty takes up like 300 gigabytes. Your game takes up like what, 100 megabytes, if I'm not, well, like
I don't
94.
even know how much, but it's less than a gig. I can tell you that. I don't
Yeah.
remember the exact amount, but it's not that big. Um, yeah, because when you look at games like Call of Duty, it's a whole bunch of textures and audio files, like all the sound effects, all the the voiceovers, all the music, everything. Those are like the big files. And when you're looking at like high fidelity games like Call of Duty and Red Dead Redemption, like those kind of games, Yeah, you're going to pay for the download size because look at it. That's why. Whereas Super Space Club, I'm designing everything just based on color and like very simple design, like simple geometric designs, and so it's not that much to actually download. Like the textures in the game, it's just characters. Like they're just whatever images you see, like the characters, weapons, ships. That's it. That's the image in the game. Everything else is just very low poly, 3D assets that I just make look good with the color theory. And so it looks like it would be a lot, but it's like for even the asteroid in the game is one asteroid that I just rotate and scale and squish, and it makes a whole space, and it feels different, you know. So it's little things like that.
Right, and that's one thing I noticed. You were I was playing the game and I'm seeing the asteroids and everything, and it's like there's so the game is simple, but it's still challenging. Like how were you able to? Because I mean, there's a lot of different games out there. Some games are like Dark Souls hard and it's gonna crush you, and then there's some games that's
Yeah.
like very easy to play. How were you able to figure out how to make it as challenging as you want it to be, but not too challenging?
I mean, honestly, that part took a long time to do. I think that's probably when you ask me what I've learned from this process. That's another thing. It's just how long games like these take to balance. Because like just if I wanted to implement like 10 more weapons tomorrow or this week, I could. But then balancing them, making them feel right, making them not feel overpowered or underpowered, like all that stuff, is hard. And then making them work with all the enemies, it's all a big balancing act. Um, and then also just playtesting, like getting people of different skill levels to try out the game. From like my wife isn't a gamer, so I make her try it, and if she can beat the first wave, then we're good. After that, she'll if she loses, that's fine. She'll learn. And then on the higher end, like I get some friends who are not just into games, but into these kind of games, like the arcade, the high score kind of games, and see how far they get. And see if they have any feedback about something being too easy, too repetitive, anything like that. Because to balance it for both sides of the spectrum is it's a challenge. You know, it's difficult. But I definitely because it's a game that scales with you, or as you scales as you go along each round. I wanted to make sure it could satisfy both ends.
Nice, nice. I like the fact that you you said if my wife can beat it, the first wave is good because she's not a gamer, and I like the fact you
Yeah,
have it where just
and no
anybody.
shade, no shade to
No,
my
no,
wife.
no.
Like I'm just saying.
No, not shade, but I'm like, you have it where it's easy for someone that's like, hey, I don't play video games. I can still pick it up and play.
Yeah, exactly. I want people to be able to pick it up and like actually just feel like they did something the first round, the very first time. You know.
Right. And that's how I felt. I was like, oh, okay. Because I beat the first wave. I'm like, oh, man, this game going to be easy.
Easy.
Nah,
Nope.
that game is not easy. Now, I'm sure there's somebody that's watching this going to be like, man, I got the like wave 20. Like, you just on wave 4. It's fine. It's fine. But I
Yo,
did
so
want,
it's funny watching because some people go in and they're like, yo, the very first time they're at wave 7. I'm like, who is this super gamer? And then other people that can't pass wave 2. So it just depends, you know?
right. But that's
Yeah.
what I like about it. It's still fun, while even though it's challenging. And I did want to ask you, you have different characters
Mm.
in the game. How did you come up with the characters? Like, was it just something like, oh, I saw this in the game, I want to put it in my game, or did you sit down and kind of, I guess, write or create those characters?
So I mean, so one of the inspirations for the game is Star Fox, just because I like the whole anthropomorphic character. Just it feels something with it feels cool, right? And then on top of that, from a gameplay perspective, having different animals being the characters, it kind of lent itself to the abilities. So, for example, there's a character named Xander who is a pangolin, and pangolins have like a very hard exterior, and so his abilities are shield. It just makes sense, right? And then like there's a antelope, but they're I always interchange them. It's an antelope, and there's like they're always very quick. They're very agile, and like their reflexes are like that. Like once they hear a predator coming, they're just gone. And so her abilities are blink. So just like that's why I picked the characters I picked, just because I wanted the animal traits to lend into the gameplay, and even just how they look. Like their whole vibe is based on their traits and their abilities, and then that's kind of led to their limited backstory. And also, that's one of the characters that look cool. That's also it. Just some cool looking characters.
I like the fact that you did like you were able to incorporate like your favorite stuff into the game, like your favorite animals, things like that. And I had a question and it slipped my mind that quick. Uh you said something about favorite animals, and then I had it, and
Well, it's
it
not my
just
favorite animals. It's just animals in general that made sense, but just cool looking animals. Like I did not put like a dog in there, you know, like a regular Labrador. Like nah,
right. So you kind of
could
want to
make it
be
cool, but nah.
kind of want to be a little bit unique in a sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Like
I
which
feel you.
game do you know has a pangolin in it? You know, that's I've never seen that before.
So
Yeah.
now getting away from game development and a little bit away from Super Space Club, what are some things you like to do outside of like let's say you're like, hey, I've been working on this game all day. I need to go take a break. What are some of the things you would do?
Sleep. No, I mean, I play a lot of games, of course. Spend time with my family, my children, my wife. Just watch about, not so much anymore watching movies and shows because I haven't had time with the launch of the game. But I will watch a bunch of TV and movies. Um, yeah, just that's I feel that's really it. The answer would have been somewhat different before the pandemic because I went out a lot and I also lived more in the city. But yeah, now it's just about relaxation, really. Anything to do to just chill.
I understand. Definitely
Yeah.
understand not having time keeping up with stuff because that's one thing. I was literally just having this conversation on my stream today about how there's so much content out there. Like it's
There's so
ridiculous.
much. I've fallen so behind. I don't ever unless you just give me 10 mil so I can just chill and just
Right.
play all the games, watch all the shows. I can't keep up anymore. I just I have to make sacrifices now, and it sucks because so many good things.
Right. And I feel like even if you did have, let's say you just had all the money in the world, you could play all the games all day, watch all the shows and everything. I feel like you still wouldn't be able to catch up because you start talking
No.
about like trying to watch One Piece and trying to
That
keep up with
alone is
that.
like a million hours. Like,
Right, right.
yeah.
But I like the fact that you said you kick it with the family. Sometimes you watching TV and things like that. So I gotta ask you because you're from Jamaica. Are
Hmm.
you're from Jamaica, right? I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're in Jamaica, and I love Jamaican food, man. So what is like your like if you had a go to Jamaican dish, what would
Curry
it
goat,
be?
rice and peas.
You said what?
But curry goat and rice and peas. That's it.
You make me hungry, man.
Give me some curry goat, because curry
Yes,
chicken. Give me like some oxtail, some beef
yes,
patties. I was good.
yes.
Some chicken foot soup. Like
I don't know what that is, but I'll try it.
it's literally it's soup made with chicken feet, but it's great. Promise you.
Mm, okay, okay. Yeah, because
Any one of the soups are good. Red pea soup, gungo pea soup, all the soups. Like
right.
it's not like the little, like it's not like chicken noodle. It's like some little light broth. Like nah, this is like some heavy soup. It's it's all very good.
See, you just made me hungry. I'm gonna have to text
Yo,
my
you
wife.
you asked a question. You
I
asked a
did, I did.
question.
I set
Like
myself up. I set myself up because now I'm hungry. To text my wife, be like, "Yeah, we need some Jamaican food today."
if you want some pastries, you can go for like bun and cheese,
Yeah.
man.
All right, so you doing too much now.
Don't ask a Jamaican about food. That's what you're going to get.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, cool, man. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I did want to ask you, man, if you had to sell your game, if somebody just come in on just this part right here, and you needed to sell your game, what would you tell them to entice them to buy the game?
This is the best arcade shoot 'em up you play all year with the best, dopest, chillest soundtrack, and it's pure vibes. It is the vibes. TM. That's what this game is.
I like that. I
Am I
like
am I
that.
wrong? Am I wrong?
No, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's
It's the
very,
vibes. Like
yeah, it's a very, very chill game because I was literally playing it while I was on the phone talking to someone last night, and I'm just like I was chilled, but then I was also getting annoyed because I kept dying at that part where you're shooting the laser, where they
oh, so
do
you
the
got
laser.
pathway for it, then yeah, you're good.
Oh, that's past way for. Oh, I went further.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's go.
yeah.
Yeah, so that yeah, I kept dying on that part. But yeah, man, that was pretty much all I had for you. Anything else you want to add? Like, where can people find you, and where can people find the game?
Yes, you can find me anywhere online at Graham of Legend. And you can find Super Space Club at superspaceclub.com. You can find it on Steam. And it's not out on Xbox yet, but coming very soon.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. I definitely appreciate you tuning in and hanging
Of
out, and
course.
making me hungry because now I got to go eat.
You're making me hungry too, like made myself hungry. I literally just had bun and cheese and I'm like, should I get another slice? Like
Hey, I mean, see, I'm about to make a trip to Jamaica, but it's cool.
hey.
But thank y'all so much for watching the video. Shout out to Graham Reid for a dope interview. Check out Super Space Club right now on Steam, coming soon to Xbox. And yeah, thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a great day. And as my boy Go DJ Star said, making this move your best move. See y'all later.